There's a lot of drama going on between actress Rachel Zegler and Disney, and it all has to do with the live-action Snow White movie that has not been doing well at all. Things have gotten so serious that Rachel had to go to an emergency meeting with Disney's lawyers. This wasn't just a normal chat. People say Disney is worried about things like broken contracts, damage to their reputation, and even lawsuits. So what went wrong? Let's start from the beginning. Rachel Zegler was cast as Snow White in Disney's new live-action version of the classic film. But as the movie started getting more attention, things took a turn for the worse. A report from Variety talked about behind-the-scenes problems, including threats, extra security, and even a special social media team being hired just for Rachel. Then Rachel tweeted something that made things even worse. She said she had to leave because she was in the middle of rehearsing for Romeo and Juliet, but then she added a political message to the tweet. Disney was really surprised and upset that she mixed her movie promotion with politics, especially at such a sensitive time. That tweet led to even more problems. One of the producers, Mark Platt, actually flew to New York to talk to Rachel in person. Now people are asking, how did this movie go from being full of hope to becoming such a mess? Rachel's meeting with Disney's legal team shows how serious the situation is. This isn't just about one person or one tweet. It's about how everything surrounding the movie has fallen apart, from the movie's poor box office numbers to the way people reacted online. And she's not the only one involved in political talk. Her co-star, who plays the evil queen, also made strong public statements. So now, both stars are involved in controversy. Let's talk money. The movie cost somewhere between $240 million and $270 million to make. But so far, it's only made about $43 million in the US and about $84 million worldwide. That's a huge loss for Disney. Some people at Disney think Rachel and others might have said or done things that hurt the movie's success. For example, Rachel called the original 1937 Snow White dated and weird, and even said Prince Charming was like a stalker. Many fans felt disrespected and upset by those comments. But Rachel's team says it might not be her fault at all. They believe the problems were caused more by people inside Disney, with bad decisions and office politics behind the scenes. This could be a big turning point for Hollywood. It shows how stars and movie studios don't always see eye to eye, especially when there's a lot of money involved. Disney is now facing not just a box office disaster, but also big public pressure. Their brand image is being damaged, and fans are losing trust. Even the son of one of the movie's producers, Jonah Platt, spoke out and blamed Rachel for how badly the movie did. That's a big deal. He's close to the project and still criticized her publicly. The original Snow White from 1937 is super important in Disney's history. It was their first full-length animated movie and helped launch the Disney we all know today. Because of that, fans had huge expectations for this remake. But instead of getting a magical reboot, many felt like the heart of the story was lost. Critics didn't like the changes, and longtime Disney fans were upset that the film seemed more focused on modern messages than on keeping the original magic. Inside Disney's headquarters, people were panicking. It wasn't just a small failure, it was clear the movie wasn't going to recover. And now, with Rachel at the center of it all, the story keeps getting more intense. Let's be real, a lot of people think the Snow White remake was going to flop no matter what. Even if everything had gone smoothly, the movie just didn't excite fans. People are getting tired of Disney remaking their old classics, and many viewers feel like the remakes don't have the magic of the originals. Some even say this one could hurt the Snow White brand forever. Now Disney has held an emergency meeting with Rachel Zegler. This shows they're trying to protect their public image, but they also might be getting ready to take legal action if things get worse. The big problem? Disney is upset about some of the things Rachel has said in interviews and online. They think her comments, like saying Prince Charming was creepy or calling parts of the original story outdated, hurt the image of the classic 1937 movie. This movie is important to Disney's legacy, and they expect their stars to protect that. Rachel didn't come alone to the meeting. She brought her lawyers, which shows she knew this meeting could get intense. Disney might even be collecting evidence to say that Rachel broke part of her contract. It's possible that actors in Disney movies have to agree not to speak badly about the company or its classic films. But Rachel's side is fighting back. Her team says Disney told the cast to promote the film as modern and progressive, so if Rachel talked about changing old parts of the story, she was just following the studio's plan. Now, it's turning into a huge debate. Was she doing what Disney wanted, or did she go too far? Some people think Rachel pushed the movie over the edge, like putting the final nails in its coffin. And now that the film has done so badly, Disney might be trying to blame her for it. It's a tough situation where an actor is stuck between what they were told to do and what the public thinks. This isn't just about Rachel either. Her co-star, Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen, has also made headlines. She hasn't had a public legal meeting with Disney, at least not yet, but there are rumors that she could face similar issues. Some people think her contract might include rules about how she speaks in the media, too. For now, though, Rachel is the one in the hot seat. This shows something important about Hollywood: even the biggest stars can get in trouble if a movie fails badly. Studios have to protect their money and reputation, and if they think a star's actions hurt the project, they might come after them. Here's the thing: when actors take on a role, they also take on a responsibility. They sign a contract, they get paid, and they're expected to help promote the movie in a positive way. That means being careful about what they say and how they act, because one wrong comment can cause major problems for the whole team working on the film. Even before this meeting with Rachel, Disney had warning signs. Test audiences, people who see early versions of movies, didn't like how the new version of Snow White felt. They said it lost the fun, magical feeling of the original. One of the biggest changes was what Disney did with the Seven Dwarfs, either removing them or changing them a lot, which upset many fans. Then came the trailers. Once they were released, the reaction online was rough. Fans were angry, confused, and disappointed. And all of that built up to the situation we're in now, with Rachel facing legal trouble, and the movie's future looking worse than ever. The Snow White remake isn't just a box office failure, it's turning into one of the biggest Hollywood disasters in years. And right in the middle of it all is Rachel Zegler. Fans and critics have been saying the new movie just doesn't feel like Snow White. A lot of people were upset that the movie focused too much on modern topics and forgot the fun, magical charm of the original. Many felt like the sweet romance and fairy tale spirit were missing. And guess what made fans even more upset? Some of the things Rachel Zegler said during interviews. She made comments that sounded like she was making fun of the romance in the original 1937 film. People were already disappointed with the trailers, but those interviews made things worse. Online, the backlash exploded. Even worse, someone brought up an old comment where Rachel said something political that made a lot of people mad. That made the online anger grow even more. It shows how one short moment, like a viral quote, can completely overshadow the work and money that went into making the film. Rachel's not staying quiet though. Leaked messages now show that Disney may have told the cast, including Rachel, to talk about the movie as a modern and empowering version of Snow White. Some reports even say Disney's boss, Bob Iger, gave the actors exact phrases to use, including ones that made the movie sound different from the classic. So now Rachel feels like she's being blamed for following the plan that Disney gave her in the first place. She says she was just doing what she was told. But now that the movie is failing, it seems like Disney is trying to act like she went off script. If that's true, then Disney's actions seem unfair, and maybe even sneaky. The emergency meeting between Rachel and Disney's lawyers shows how serious things have gotten. If they can't work things out, Disney might try to make her pay money or take legal action to protect their image. That's a huge deal, and it shows how dangerous it can be for actors when the creative plan suddenly changes after the movie is already made. But the blame might not stop with the actors. Insiders are saying the Disney leadership team was split from the very beginning. Some leaders wanted to totally update the story with new messages. Others warned that changing things like the dwarfs, the romance, and the magical charm would make fans upset, and it turns out, they were right. Rachel has even hinted that some powerful people at Disney may have tried to sabotage the film on purpose. Maybe for political reasons, or even to prove a point within the company. That's a big accusation. So here's the big question: if Disney's leaders couldn't agree on the movie from the start, why are they putting all the pressure on Rachel now? It's not just fans who are upset, Disney's investors are worried too. These are the people who own parts of the company and care about making money. They're afraid this failure means Disney's strategy of remaking its classic movies is broken. These remakes were supposed to be big money makers, but now, that plan looks shaky. And if Disney really does go after Rachel legally, it might not just be about money, it could hurt Disney's whole brand. If their own star starts saying they broke promises or turned on her, it could cause even more public backlash. This whole situation shows just how quickly things can fall apart, even for a company as big as Disney. When fans feel like the heart of a classic story is being replaced by too much messaging, and when actors and studios start blaming each other, it becomes more than just a movie problem. It's a major moment for Hollywood, and everyone is watching. The Snow White drama just keeps getting deeper, and now, leaked emails from inside Disney are making things look even worse. These emails show that some Disney executives were worried about the movie months before it even came out. They were already noticing problems with the story, the message, and how fans might react. But instead of fixing the issues, it seems like Disney didn't take action, and now all of those early warnings have exploded into a public mess. Once fans started complaining online, the marketing team at Disney scrambled to do damage control. They even gave instructions to stop using Rachel Zegler's interviews in promotions. But by then, it was too late. Rachel's face and voice were already tied to things like updating outdated parts of the original Snow White. So, when people got mad about the changes, she became the main target. If these emails end up being used in court, they might show that Disney actually told Rachel to say those things. And if that's true, then it looks pretty bad for Disney to turn around and blame her now that the movie flopped. Rachel Zegler became famous after West Side Story, and Disney thought her young energy would give the new Snow White something fresh. But now that she's in the middle of the controversy, some fans feel her honesty in interviews made the problems even worse, especially if she was just repeating what Disney told her to say. Now that Rachel has had an emergency meeting with Disney's lawyers, the big question is, can they work things out? Or is this going to turn into a long, ugly battle that hurts both sides? Hollywood is a tricky place. Taking creative risks can lead to huge success, or massive failure. In this case, it's starting to feel like both are happening at the same time. Fans are watching from the sidelines, and many are shocked at how far things have gone. People used to see Snow White as the heart of Disney's magic. Now, it's become a symbol of bad decisions and arguments behind the scenes. Some longtime Disney fans are saying the company needs to go back to basics. They want faithful remakes that stick to the original stories, not big changes that feel out of place. Other fans are okay with new ideas but still feel like Disney messed up the way they handled this one, especially the way they handled the public reaction. Rachel's meeting with Disney lawyers shows how serious this has become. Disney has spent decades building a family-friendly brand. But if they try to blame the whole mess on one actress, it could damage their reputation even more. People don't just want magical stories, they want honesty too. And there you have it, the full breakdown of the Snow White chaos and Rachel Zegler's clash with Disney. Whether this turns into a legal showdown or just fades away, one thing's clear, the magic behind the scenes isn't always what it seems.